Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and another historic event. Today's deck is Boros Reanimator. Welcome back, everybody, to It Resolves here on the channel. We love to play new decks, have some fun, and hopefully learn a little something along the way. If that sounds like your cup of tea, or if you are interested in our 10,000 subscriber giveaway, including 3 separate winners with some amazing prizes, standard boxes, secret layers, altars, all kinds of fun stuff, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. We really would appreciate it. Not only does it help out the channel, but again, you are entered to win that 10,000 subscriber giveaway. As soon as we hit that number, we'll be giving away some awesome prizes, so do stay tuned for that. But guys, let's talk about today's deck. This is a deck originally created by MTG Original. I did a lot of teching out of certain pieces of it, and by teching out, I don't mean changing too much of the original deck, but in particular, the land base needed, I think, just a little bit of a boost, and by doing so, I just threw in some Sacred Foundries and kind of cleaned it up a little bit, so that way, hopefully, getting to, you know, particular mana costs isn't as difficult. I also kind of played around with some numbers here and there, but overall, most of the deck is basically the same, so I'll probably still credit MTG Original in the comments, because I do want to make sure credit where credit's due. The idea for the deck was definitely his. So let's talk through it a little bit, though. So, but basically the idea is we are going to be looting or rummaging our way into some really powerful things. In particular, we want to get some of these big bombs, including Ugin, Overwhelming Splendor, Chandra, or Bombardment, into the graveyard with Triumphant Reckoning. And then from there, the idea is basically to Mizzix Mastery our way into the Triumphant Reckoning, and then allow ourselves to basically bring all of it back in one turn, basically locking out the game. Now, obviously, there are a lot of ways you could probably dig out of it, but I think it would be very difficult at that point, especially if we have one of each of these on the field. Very, very tricky. Now, to help us get there, of course, we do have things like Faithless Looting. We've got Thrilling Discovery, Cathartic Reunion. One of the cards I added in was Cathartic Pyre. This one was a little bit of a hefty call for me, I think, only because Cathartic Reunion allows you to draw 3 cards versus just 2. However, this gives you a little bit of an out against creatures and planeswalkers. It's also instant speed. So there are a couple of scenarios that I found in playtesting the original list where I felt like, you know, just having a piece of removal there, even if it's just a minimal piece, is probably going to be helpful, and therefore I thought throw a couple of these in there and see what we can do. As you can tell, I'm still kind of testing the 2 and 2 split because I'm not 100% sure if this is the right way to go, but so far I've been enjoying it. It does give you some outs. We do have Deafening Clarion and Wrath of God. Again, trimmed down just slightly on the Deafening Clarions, but I think very good, obviously, for the deck because you can very quickly sweep the board and get yourself back into a game. And so you do kind of want maximized board sweepers here if you can get them. Strike It Rich is a way of just ramping us, so this just gets us to our Mizzix Mastery a lot quicker. 1 mana, throw a treasure token out, you can flash it back, all that kind of stuff, but that's pretty much it. It's a pretty straightforward list. Very all-in strategy, so I have an assumption that we're probably either going to really win the game or just completely get annihilated by a very fast deck. And so we probably won't get the full 7 wins today. But you know what? I think today we're not worried about getting 7 wins. I think today we're worried about having a good time with, I think, a very fun deck. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. We're going to jump straight into the event, which we do try and get 7 wins before 3 losses, just in case you've never played an event. And we'll see if we can do it, guys. It'll be a blast. Let's jump into game 1 right now. All right, guys, and here we are for game number 1. This is not a great hand based on just simply not really having all that much to do. That being said, this deck really does a good job of drawing through and getting to what it needs. And in that case, I'm going to risk it. I don't think this is a bit of an educated guess play. The reason being we have Faithless Looting, so this is going to dig us 2 cards deeper into the deck. That also gives us a turn to at least draw into a white source naturally. I'm hoping, at the very least, we'll be able to get there. And there we go, guys. We never didn't have it. Perfect. That was exactly what we wanted. All right, so let's go ahead and ditch these 2. That's a perfect start, really. And so now this hand is really good. We've got Thrilling Discovery if we would like it. Alternatively, because we really don't have anything to discard, we may just go for the pass, or play a land and pass kind of play, but we'll see. We are getting all of the lands we need to play the Mizzix Mastery as well, and I think we are just going to pass here. I don't think we need to overshoot. Not yet. Alright, looks like the opponent is playing probably a vastly similar style deck, where they're trying to Faithless Looting their way into a powerful Mizzix Mastery as well. Let's see, gain control of target creature, Spike Field Hazard. Okay. So far, we're not really seeing anything all that terrifying from the opponent in the graveyard. Now, obviously, that's a little bit scary, I suppose. Obviously, that could change in a heartbeat, but for now, we are managing okay. So let's draw a couple cards. We will throw, I think, Deafening Clarions back, knowing that it looks, at least, as if they are not going to be a deck where we're going to be able to interact with the sweeper. I think they are very much trying to get a powerful creature down and then Kazul's Fury their way into a win, which seems pretty good. I think with that being said, our goal is probably to win as quickly as possible. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's get ourselves a free Ugin, essentially. I am just going to hit him for 3 here. We could exile the treasure token, honestly. That's not a bad play, just in case they didn't have a land. That takes them off of Mizzix Mastery, but right now, truthfully, Mizzix Mastery on its own is not that scary. Now, that could change, like I said, in a heartbeat, but as of right now, we are reasonably well, positioned to take over. We can also just start to draw a lot of cards with Ugin. That -10 is pretty broken if you can get there very quickly, which, as of right now, doesn't seem impossible. So, okay. Interesting. All right, so again, I'm just gonna shoot them for 3. We're not gonna overthink it. Let's go ahead and throw this down. Let's throw you down tapped. And I suppose we'll go ahead and play the Strike It Rich. That still leaves up the Cathartic Pyre as an option, but now they're facing down an Ugin Ultimate, unless they, of course, can just hit it for something. There it is. That's what we were scared of. All right, so let's see what they've got. This is the scary part. Oh, it's the Charbelcher deck. So we just lose, I think. Do we have a way of digging out of this? I don't think we do. So in hindsight, it probably would have been best if we had actually used the exile effect on Ugin. Let's get rid of that, yeah. I don't think we have an out though, so that's fine. They're just gonna hit us for 41. The Charbelcher deck, man, it's such an annoying deck to play against. But you know what? We were a turn away from getting really, really far into that game, so it's fine. I think that was okay. It is what it is. Charbelcher's just Charbelcher. Let's jump into game number 2, guys. Let's see if we can get a win there. All right, guys, and here we are for game number 2. Unfortunately, this is not a hand we can keep, only because we have no discard stuff. This is not great, but better. Cathartic Reunion does actually help quite a bit. And I actually think we can just throw a land back relatively safely. It's a bit of a tricky one, though. We are going to use that Cathartic Reunion, of course, to discard. And I think we go ahead and do that now. We can just discard the Overwhelming Splendor and Bombardment. This gives us the maximum number of cards. Okay, so we definitely need to hit our Reanimator spell. But if we do, we've got 2 more things to discard that are not already in the graveyard. We've kind of got all the big bombs ready to go. It's just a matter of can we get it done. So let's go ahead and Faithless Looting first, see what we hit. Not really what we want, but that's fine. We can go ahead and have a Sacred Foundry tapped here, and then at the very least we do have our 4 mana available, and we can just Faithless Looting next turn. All right, so I am gonna Faithless Looting now. This is a bit of a scary play, though. I think we just discard. Actually, I'm gonna hold on to one of you and discard a Mizzix Mastery. That might seem like a bit of an odd play, but there is a world where we get to 6 mana before we get to the Reanimator spell. In which case, I think I'd rather just be able to play the Chandra and then sweep, right? That seems better. So this is all kind of okay because we've got a Deafening Clarion in hand, right? So we actually get to sweep here and not really overstress about this. And there's that mana, so we are just one away from being able to kind of wreck them. West Chandra really is good here because it's non-elemental creatures get -3, which is basically their deck, right? It's, I believe, just a mono green kind of elves build. I think the champion is an interesting include, but oh, there it is. Unfortunately, we don't have a way of getting it into our graveyard though, do we? So what we could do is a bit of an odd play, but what we can do is do this to play Cathartic Reunion, which allows us to discard these two. We get to draw 3. Perfect. All right, so then next turn, what we're able to do is Mizzix Mastery our way into some bomb stuff with that Triumphant Reckoning. So as long as we don't die this turn, which I don't think we're in danger of dying quite yet. This is a scary board, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they're going to be able to kill us. Perfect. Yeah, and we honestly, we don't actually need to go for the overload thing here, or the overload cost. We're really just trying to play the Reckoning here. What's so nice about this is they immediately just get nerfed by all their creatures. We'll just keep one of these. I'm actually going to blow up their lands because I don't particularly care about their creatures. Let's go ahead and -3 to get rid of everything. And this is exactly what we're trying to do, guys. We are just trying to blow them up with everything that we can. And I mean, now they are in a position where they're losing a land every turn. Their creatures can only ever be little 1/1s with no abilities, essentially. And we've got an Ugin and a Chandra on the field. Like, this is what the deck is about. And there we go. We got the win, guys. And against elves, too, that felt like a very potentially destructive matchup because we did trim down by 1 on our sweepers. But, woo, excuse me, I had a little burp there. We were able to do it, guys. That was awesome. Let's jump into game 3. All right, guys, and here we are for game number 3. And yeah, this is a pretty easy keep. We've got a turn 1 Faithless Looting if we would like it. We also just have Strike It Rich, both of which are great turn 1 plays. Turn 2, of course, we do have the Cathartic Reunion if we would like it. I might actually go for the Strike It Rich play just to see. I'd like to play the Cathartic Reunion before the Faithless Looting if we get another thing that we would like to discard. Now, obviously, that slows our draws down slightly, but we'll see. We will see. We can also just discard Strike It Rich, the Cathartic Reunion, if we just don't draw anything. That's kind of the beauty of this deck, is that you do get a lot of flashback. Not a lot, but a couple of cards with flashback, which is helpful because trying to discard cards, right? So as a hedge, you can always discard something there and kind of run with it. Also, guys, before we jump into this game, I just want to mention we've added a handful of new products to our online store at itresolvesmtg.com, including some apparel. We've got a Phyrexia Forever shirt that I'm really excited about, actually, and hats, things like that, that if you are interested in picking up, it's a great way to support the channel, but also kind of get something back. And basically, you know, it's a really easy way to pick up some merch and represent the channel. Please feel free to do so. We would really appreciate it. Any and all support, of course, is greatly appreciated. I am going to go Strike It Rich first, and we'll just pass. We could technically also Faithless Looting, but I think we just want to ramp, given that we've only got 2 lands. And basically, if we draw another thing to discard, which we did, we just get to Cathartic Reunion here, discarding both of these. And then we get to draw 3 cards, which is great. I am going to not play the Faithless Looting right now. I don't want to burn the treasure token yet. This could also be just Charbelcher again, and it looks like it is. So annoying. Charbelcher, man. What an annoying deck this is. All right. Let's do this, actually. So we're going to discard, oops, you and you. I want to draw maximum number of cards before we discard maximum number of cards, you know? Okay. And then, yeah, I'll just Faithless Looting now, I think. So Wrath of God is not helpful in the least, and we'll probably just discard a land here too, yeah. Annoying, but fine. Basically, I mean, this is just a race situation, and chances are they're gonna get us. If we could get Haphazard Bombardments down, like if somehow next turn we were able to Mizzix Mastery plus like Faithless Looting or something, we would be in pretty good shape actually, because we could start to wreck their mana base a reasonable amount here. But that doesn't seem super likely. Yeah, let's do this. I'm actually going to discard the Thrilling Discovery and Plains, I think. Give me something. That's not something. Alright, let's Clifftop. Let's Faithless Looting. Not feeling good about this one. We're just not hitting it. Which, again, is kind of the risk you run with this deck anyway. I think we have to discard the 2 lands to keep the Cathartic Pyre for whatever we might draw. But we're not in great shape right now. They probably can kill us this upcoming turn, if not get very close. Yeah, that's pretty good. There's the Charbelcher. So they just play that out, and yeah, now they got it. Man, Charbelcher is such an annoying deck to play against. Has anybody else been annoyed by Charbelcher in Historic? I am. I definitely am. 47 damage. Fair enough. They got us. Not much we can do about it. Maybe we'll play the Charbelcher deck one time, just to do it. But you know what? That's 2 wins and 1 loss so far, which does mean this next game is a pretty big one. We have to hope to win. If we do, we get to keep going. If we don't, we are out. So let's see if we can do it. All right, guys, and here we are for game number 1. This is actually a pretty amazing starting hand, only because we have got pretty much everything we need in the opener, aside from the Mizzix Mastery. So basically, we're just going to be hoping to hit that, but we do have a lot to discard here with a couple of discard spells. This seems really good, and it's Elves, no less, which, again, is a really good thing for Overwhelming Splendor here. All right, so let's discard these 2 first. Perfect. All right. I don't think it matters too much. They're not going to have, to my knowledge at least, I don't believe Elves has too much in the way of graveyard interaction. So I'm not really overly concerned about all that, but this is great. We basically just have to hope we don't die now, right? So let's maximize our draw. Whoops. There we go. Discard those 2, draw 3. And we just have a Wrath of God now. That's pretty good. So worst case scenario, we could Wrath next turn, or not next turn, can we? Dang. A Deafening Clarion would be a killer draw right now. Just to be able to sweep, so that way we're not overly concerned about what they've got. But this also could very well go south, as in, you know, they could just have tons and tons of really powerful cards hitting the battlefield in no time, and we could just die. There's the Shepherd, which means we are dead next turn, basically. And I actually don't think there's anything we can do now. I was going to say, if we drew a Deafening Clarion there... Oh, come on. It was right there. Oh, gosh. If we had gotten the Deafening Clarion, we could have swept a good bit of the board here and just won. So basically, we have to hope they don't get greedy, but, I mean, chances are they're going to get greedy. Or not going to get greedy. They got the Crater Hoof. All right, good game, man. That was efficient. We were a turn away from annihilating them. Oh, guys. Terrible, terrible, terrible record. 3-1. I'm glad at least that we were able to see the deck do its thing. It is a really fun deck. So this is one that, again, it's an all-in strategy. You're not expecting to win a high number of games, but when you win the games, it feels pretty good. You know what I mean? And so at the very least, if you're looking for a fun deck, guys, I highly encourage you to test this one out. It was a blast. But unfortunately, that's going to be it for us today. I do hate that we didn't get a better record, but I hope you guys enjoyed it regardless. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget, tomorrow we do have the Glorious Sunrise Podcast episode 2 coming out. We've got a nice little challenge video for you guys that I hope you'll enjoy, and do feel free to take part in that challenge as well. We would really appreciate it. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I love you all. We'll see you guys again tomorrow.